Good evening, everybody. And you are in the zone with Robert Lamar. And we are going to talk about everything from the Raiders to boxing to the Aces. So let's jump into it. So we have the NFL draft coming up, right? And, it's weird how everybody wants to embrace the running back again. It's like, oh, they're important. Yeah. See, the value in having a great running attack is that you most likely have a defense that is good as well. Because in order for you to be able to stop the run, you have to practice against it every day. And seeing the addition to what good running backs can do to an offense, the 49ers did it with Christian McCaffrey, getting an elite guy and just took him over the top. Well, almost to the top. And then the Philadelphia Eagles with, Barkley, Saquon, that was a missing piece. So now all of a sudden, everybody needs a running back, right? So with this draft is the deepest running back draft that we have seen in a while. And the Raiders at number 6, Antonio Pierce got fired because he didn't tank. So it is what it is. It sucks, but number 6 is a good pick, but you would like to be top 3 if you're not playing for anything. So they're not going to be around to get a Cam Ward at quarterback or a Shador Sanders. So at this point, you need to get the best player available. And what we're looking at around pick number 6 is that Ashton Genty, running back from Boise, looks like he might be available. And that is a very, very safe pick, in my opinion. I do like his game. He ran all over the place in that blue turf in Boise. Dude he was a load. But for me, if I'm trying to go into this Brady era where we're trying to do right as an organization finally, right? We actually care. I was thinking that maybe the Raiders should address the 23rd ranked offensive line in the league. Because what are you going to do when you can't run the ball, can't run block, you can't pass block, you can't protect anything. So it don't matter who you have if they can't stay upright. So me personally, as much as I like Genty, I love Trey Henderson. Man, Trey Henderson is, to me, I feel like he has the best potential to be an impact running back, like a missing piece type of back. That's how I feel about Trey Henderson. That dude is no joke. And the move that I'm mad at the most that the Raiders did not make was allowing Najee Harris to go to your rival with the LA Chargers. I mean, you got Geno Smith, veteran quarterback. He's going to be reliable. You could have got a reliable back that was available. I mean, he's an underrated guy. He's not like a Pro Bowler, but the dude's never had a season where he didn't eclipse 1,000 yards. He's still a young back in his prime, and you let him go to your rival, who was stacking up down there in LA. I don't like that move. I don't like it at all. But it is what it is. I thought that he could be like a pretty good bridge back until you get a younger guy in there, better guy maybe eventually, but that didn't happen. Running backs, the Raiders definitely need some help. But I'm thinking that maybe instead of picking at that number 6 spot, maybe trading out of it and getting more draft capital. Or if you do decide to stay there, why don't you possibly pick up the best left tackle that's available? That's a thought. Winning football is not sexy. It's ground and pound. So that's how I feel about where the Raiders are at as an offense, as a defense is going in the right direction. But offense, man, that line needs work. Needs a lot of work. So I wouldn't be opposed if they struck a deal, trade down in the first, got some more draft capital, and got the top offensive lineman that's available. That's just how I feel. So, but you can't be mad at Genty either. But oh my God, I love Travion Henderson. I don't know how many times I got to say it. That dude at Ohio State, you see how explosive he was? Once he hit a hole, goodbye. Goodbye. That dude is the truth. So, just a thought, Raider fans. Don't jump down my neck. I know Genty looks good and all, but this is a deep draft. There's a lot of there's some dogs that can run the rock in this draft. If you waited in the second round to get a running back, you can get a very reliable good one with what the numbers what the position that the Raiders are picking. So it's just a thought. Just a thought. And this weekend, the boxing world lost a juggernaut, an icon in big George Foreman. Man was 76 years old. And George Foreman was great to a lot of people for different reasons. I love that guy so much because as a young teenager, or before I was a teenager, I was able to see like the personable George Foreman. My dad grew up and he got to see the angry George. That angry George that was whooping up on everybody. I miss that George, man. I'm not that old, but yeah, that dude was no joke. Everybody, like, the most famous fight he had was the Rumble in the Jungle against Muhammad Ali. And he was putting on a whooping on Ali, but Ali was playing possum. Ropey doping that dude, letting him get tired, and all of a sudden when he got tired, he just threw them dogs on him and just finished him. That's why Ali is the greatest. Because for him to take such a butt whipping from that big, massive country boy, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that. And he definitely did his thing. Like that was at that point, which is surprising. Like, they didn't even run it back for a rematch. So he never got the Ali rematch, which is crazy because when you think about it, Ali ran it back with Frazier 3 times, and he never gave it back to Big George. But for me personally, my favorite Big George Foreman fight was when that was probably the best heavyweight slug fight, like slugfest ever. I mean, they were just knocking each other's brains out. And it's just like, wait a minute. They getting up and still fighting? Crazy. Just massive, man. It was crazy. But, when George retired in 77, he couldn't get that he couldn't get the rematch with Ali. He took a loss against what was his name? I'm trying to Jimmy Young in 77. Took that loss to Jimmy Young, and he left. And he found himself. He found Christ, and became a minister. And all of a sudden, like the angry guy that everybody was used to was cheerful, happy, personable. And, that was different for, fight fans to see. And he wasn't done. And he came back in the late 80s and he was big as hell. He was big as hell, but he was still good, still powerful as ever. And he had some really good fights. Like most notably in the late 80s was when he fought Holyfield. I think he fought Holyfield. What year he fight Holyfield? I want to say 89. And Holyfield said that he hit him so hard that he froze. He said, I think he said his blood froze. It's like, what? And he asked his when he got to the corner, he said, "Do I still have my teeth?" And they're like, "Yeah, you still got your teeth." But that Holyfield was the real deal Holyfield at that time. Undisputed champion, top fighter in the world. And he was definitely putting it on George. If George was a lesser man, he would not have survived that. But to think that you could take a whipping from a young bull and then almost knock him out, yeah, that's Big George for you. That's Big George. And retribution for him came in 1994. In 1994, he fought Michael Moore for the heavyweight championship. And I remember, man, he was getting his butt cooked. I mean, just getting beat up. It was bad. And to see him just get beat up like that, I remember watching that fight live. Watch him get beat the hell down was like, damn. Somebody say that, old man. But this is what this old man did. 45 years old in the ring. At the end of the ninth round, it's like he kind of figured out like his timing with the guy. And I think he went into the 10th round knowing that he can finish him. And when he was talking about how he was using punches like that didn't land, but they were powerful to the point where they were repositioning. He repositioned Michael Moore. And then when he was able to connect, he was sizing him up. And at that point, he finished him. And that was the most remarkable thing that I've ever seen. And I didn't understand what I was watching when it came to the boxing game. And it's really crazy that was only the second time that he held the heavyweight championship. You would think that somebody of his stature would hold the title, more than that. But 1994 was humongous for George. But I'm gonna tell you why 1994 was humongous for him, and it wasn't even for boxing. 1994, he became a part of everybody's household. Raise your hand if you had yourself a George Foreman grill. Come on, man. At that point, he was a part of majority of America's household because I don't know who did not have a George Foreman grill, man. And yeah, it was pretty dope. Like those grills were for me, they lifesavers. I wish I had one still. I will get one again. But he really became a household name. America loved that man. And I'm really glad they didn't go to punk ass Hulk Hogan. He turned it down. But George was the one who picked it up, and man, that's his legacy. So 94 was humongous for George. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And he would end up retiring. I think he did I think he had a few more fights, and then he called it a quits. But yeah, there will never be another George Foreman. That golden era of boxing was the best. He came up in the era of the hardest punching fighters of all time, really. When I start talking about the hardest hitting heavyweights, for me, I start with Ernie Shavers. I mean, that's the hardest dude. That's Ali has never been hit as hard as that. you know, Ernie Shavers, Big George, Ken Norton, all these guys practically like in the same era. Insane. You'll never see that again. Never. So rest in peace of Big George. Appreciate all the memories. But yeah, that was a tough one. And this past weekend, we did have a championship defense. We had the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. And man, he fought Cordell Booker. It's like, why in the hell did the Errol Spence fight not get made? We were waiting for Errol Spence to come back and fight Fundora. Didn't happen. So he ended up fighting this Cordell Booker guy. And do you guys know who Cordell Booker is? I do, but do you guys know? Because it's like, man, it was just one-sided, like no tomorrow. It's just like, okay, so you were inactive about a year. You got your activity in. Okay, cool. We're going to make the Spence fight. I don't know what's going on with Spence. That's a whole nother pot, man. What is going on with Errol Spence? It's like, I was one of the biggest Errol Spence fans out there. And after that car crash, he's not been the same. And after what Terrence Crawford did to him, beating the brakes off of him, I haven't seen a butt whipping like that in I don't know how long. Terrence Crawford beat up Errol Spence like Errol Spence stole something from him. Wow. Since Terrence Crawford put hands on Errol Spence, where's Errol Spence? Does he have PT? Like, does he have PTSD or something? Because I would after that butt whipping. And all jokes aside, inactivity is the death of a fighter. We're over 2 years at this point. Well, we're close to 2 years at this point. Errol, you got to fight, bro. Because a lot of people don't believe that you'll ever be the same. I'm one of them. But if you feel like if you say you working, you grinding, you getting it in, you got to make something happen, bro. Just saying. Just saying. 154 is wide open. The Towering Inferno 6'5", probably barefooted, but they say you 6'5", 6'6". But a skill set can get underneath this guy and could cause some problems. But he's also a problem too with that freaking long giraffe reach that he has. So hopefully his next defense for Dora will probably be against Spence or somebody a bigger name, and we go from there. And speaking of Terrence Crawford, I heard through the grapevine that he's walking around about 185 pounds, trying to get used to that higher weight. And Crawford's strong though already. He's a strong guy, and strength isn't going to be the problem. But naturally, Canelo is a big dude, and he hit hard like a big dude too. So yeah. We'll see what more updates we got with Terrence Crawford, man. I believe in his skill set. So we'll see if we hear anything else. And what's going on to our, the ones who we love almost more than everybody out here, the Las Vegas Aces. And look, some people are calling me a hater, and I don't want to be known as a hater, but I do want to be a realist. When I posted an article last spring talking about a three-peat ain't gonna be easy, it's not. How is that hating? When was the last time a three-peat was done in any sport? Let me know. Was it the Lakers? That was in the early 2000s. That mess is hard. And in the WNBA, you had like New York taking whippings, and they were building up their roster to take down Goliath. They did. I mean, it's I knew Candace Parker retiring was gonna be tough, even though she didn't really play as many games. But that veteran presence, leadership, that's hard to replace. Uh, a team without Kelsey Plum, still not used to it. I don't like it. This is me personally. Love Kelsey, and she's gonna do good things at her new destination. But the thing that I wish that the Aces would have done was keep Kate Martin around. We do have a veteran backcourt, but we need more youth in that backcourt. And you want to have some young talent around to be able to develop, around all those veterans. And I would like to see the Aces get younger in the backcourt. We need to see who's going to step up, in the front court and help, you know, that three-time MVP that we got. It's Asia Wilson. And, you know, sh I don't even want to even think about it. She can win another MVP in a row. It's just like, it's possible, but I feel like this is as good as this Aces team is. Nobody's really, I don't feel the same enthusiasm around winning this time around. This going into this season. So some question marks there. Got to see how everything's going to develop. It's going to be good having a healthy Chelsea Gray. That's gonna help, and we'll see how it goes. But definitely, there's some question marks coming in out of Las Vegas when regards to the Aces this year. So we're just doing this all in a nutshell right now. So I'm just kind of covering a few things, just doing a little venting, just being in the zone right now. So we're gonna touch on some other things on another podcast. We're gonna, cover UNLV football. With first year going into the Dan Mullen era, and UNLV might have a basketball coach. I need to confirm if it's official or not. But if they do, solid choice. But want to wait till the ink is dry and we'll go from there. So hey, I'll be back. So once again, you are in the zone with Robert Lamar, and I'm gonna see you later.